Hi. Me and Spike are going to tell you everything we know, and Andy, about running generators. First thing, change the oil. You know, it's a no-brainer, but you know how many people actually do that? Well, you know, maybe put a card on the generator or put it in your phone. You know, 6 months from now or 4 months from now, have a reminder in your phone calendar, hey, change the oil in the generator. I mean, this is what, $4 or $5? What's the generator cost? Well, you know what a generator costs because you're looking to buy one or you own one, right? So this is cheap insurance. It gets really hot in that engine. This helps cool it down and lubricate it. Spare air filter. You know, what is this, $5? Yeah. And spark plugs. These foul, and you can sometimes clean them. Sometimes you don't know what's wrong. You replace a spark plug, boom, you're back in business. Learn from me. That's kind of a hot mess, isn't it? If your generator does not have an inline filter or a gasoline shutoff, install one. This is not rocket science. I'll make a video about this actually. Make a note, Eric. But keeping crud out of your carburetor if you're using a gasoline one, big deal. And then when you're done running your generator, you turn this valve off and then you burn out, you use up all the gas in the carb, allowing it to store much better. Again, learn from me. There will be some affiliate links to stuff that I talk about that you can buy. The link is below. If you're using gasoline, get stabilizer and seafoam. You can argue in the comments, this is like $9. Its big thing for me is it absorbs water in the fuel tank and in the carburetor. I have rescued dead power equipment by just putting seafoam in the tank and a little in the carb. Boom, we're back in business. And gas stabilizer, there are different brands. I think they all do the same thing. Again, argue in the comments below. Gasoline does not last very long because of the ethanol in it mainly, as far as I understand. But this, it'll last 6 months. When you're approaching that 6-month limit on your gas can, pour the gas into your car, drive it off, then refill your gas can with the appropriate amount of this mixed in. Sad but true, when you're running your generator outside because you're not running it in your basement or your garage, outside, okay, or you will die, you should chain it. Chain it to something immobile like the wheel of your car or a very large tree or something like that. I mean, unfortunately, we live in a world now which everyone isn't as nice as you and I, and people will steal them. So chain and a good lock. I mean, this is, you probably have this in your garage already, right? Because you're like me. When connecting your generator to your home safely, because you're going to use an interlock or a transfer panel, right? Get yourself a heavy-duty cable to attach the generator to your connector, your outdoor outlet, I guess, receptacle is what it's called. This is a homemade one. I built this and I would have rather bought one because I think there's kind of a problem at the where the wire meets the plug there. Sorry for the focus. Can you see that? Wire meets the plug. Yeah, this works, but I would have rather have bought a commercial one. Yeah, it's expensive, but it'll last longer. It's easier to use. That's just my experience. Because that's what we're sharing here, right? Is Eric's world. Maybe I can help you. I'd like to help you, so let me know if I'm helping. Comments. Consider a smaller generator. Everyone's like, whoa, what do you mean? I want a bigger one. Yeah, I mean, if you want to run your whole house air, you know, in, what's that called? Whole house air conditioner and that, you're gonna need a big one. You're gonna need beyond a portable, in my opinion. This is a mid-range power one, 7,500 running watts. It runs my whole house. I don't have air conditioning. It's almost too much. It's basically too much wattage most of the time. If you just want to run some fans and your air and your refrigerator and a TV, some lights. Oh, look, there's some dog treats here. Protect your equipment from mice. That's my biggest challenge of having anything in a garage is the mice just move in. I get them in my car, I get them in this, I get my log splitter, anything. I mean, why do they always want to nest in an engine? There's a couple solutions though. Mothballs, basically from what I can tell, don't really work very well. There are a couple of plant-based repellents that work really well. I'll link to them in the notes below. But this, It smells beautiful, and mice hate it. You know what it's like to take apart this generator? It's not fun, you know? Be prepared every fall, and maybe in the middle of winter if you have a long winter, replace these puppies. You don't want mice in there. Learn from me. If you're running propane, consider getting a bigger propane tank, or maybe 2 of them. These, are they 20 pounders? Yeah, they work, but are you in a hurricane area where power could go out for a week? Then this puppy, again, depending on how much you use it and the horsepower and amperage wattage of your generator determines how fast you're gonna burn through this puppy. But go to your farm supply store, you can buy a 100-pounder, that's what I call them. They're taller, and they, I think, take 100 pounds of propane, so that's 5 of these. You fill it once, and it's there. And propane, if you keep it in a garage, it'll last 10 years. It just sits there, you know? Or if you have propane powering your cooking stove and your, what's that thing called, furnace? Hook up, get your propane guy to add an adapter so you can plug this right into your big tank. Number 1, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for in life and when you're buying a generator. If you want lasting quality that's not gonna break, you're going to pay more for that. If you want like the top of the line Honda generator, it's gonna be quiet, it might even be water cooled, and it will run forever. You know, the mid-range ones like this, they run nicely. If you cheap out, and the carburetor goes, are you gonna be able to find a carburetor for that? Or one of the special parts for it, especially if it's runs on propane. And if you have a propane generator, if you have a cheap one and the diaphragm goes out or something, how are you gonna find that part? If anything you take from this video, you get what you pay for. Let's go to the rest. There you go. There you go, good girls. For some reason, they don't like to be in my garage. I don't know why. I've been on the ground a lot for this video because I can't get this up on a table. Plastic tires. And you might think, oh, that means it's cheap. Well, maybe not though. Plastic tires don't go flat. Kind of a light bulb moment for me. Thank you to Steve from Steve's Small Engine Repair. I love his YouTube channel. But think about it, these don't go flat. If you're rolling this around on cement, a sidewalk, something like that, you don't need air-filled tires, pneumatic tires in other words. If you're rolling this across a construction site or gravel or rough terrain, the air-filled tires are much better. But you know, in 3 months, an air-filled tire can go blank, and then you gotta pull it off, get it fixed, try and repair the tube. So I don't think plastic tires are a bad thing anymore. Let me revise an earlier one. I actually think even when you're not using your generator, you should chain it up. Lock this thing up, because if you have your garage doors open and you go to the grocery store, someone drives by, hey look, there's a generator in there. You know, if it's chained up, well, that makes their life a little more difficult, doesn't it? And that's what it's all about. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, get an electric start. This shoulder, it's older. That was pretty good, I just thought that up. Make sure you have a trickle charger on your battery. Turn it to run. That'll save your shoulder in the middle of winter. This is my newer generator. It has electric start. My first one was a pull, and I was younger, and that was okay. But you know, think about your spouse. Can they also pull a generator if you're not home? With the electric start, I'm like, I've taught everyone how to hook it up, press the button, you're good to go. So what I've done there is I've turned off the fuel valve from the gas tank to the carburetor. The engine is still running because there's still fuel in the reservoir, the bottom bowl of the carb. What we're doing here is we're removing all the gas from the carb, so when we store it, that carb carb, the gas in the carb doesn't gum up the carb. That's the biggest problem with portable generators, which is with engines in general. Oh, hear that? It's starting to run out of fuel in the carburetor, which is exactly what we want to happen. So just let it keep doing this, okay? Boom, done. Turn off your switches, plug in your trickle charger onto your battery. It's a beautiful thing then. And then when you really need it, it'll start up.